Welcome back everyone, it's Hutch from Hutch High Perf. I was so busy on the last engine video trying to get to degree in the cam that I think I went a little fast and glossed over on the pistons. So I got 6 more to do, so I figured what better time than now. So stick around, I'm going to get the pistons in and I'll go into a little bit more detail about what I do. Here we go. I'm kicking myself because I should have recorded this. All right, full disclosure, don't know how this happened. You can see it. See this little mark right here above and below the top piston ring land. That, I don't know, because when I got the pistons, I took them out and looked down to make sure that they were okay, but I didn't inspect them close enough, and that's kind of my own fault. So I can't blame anybody but myself. This could have been pre-packaging. This could have been me when I was handling them. Could have been at the machine shop. I don't know. So at this point, all I could do was fix the issue. Here's what the issue was. I was installing the top ring. And as I was feeding the ring around, the end of the ring was stuck right in this spot. And I couldn't get the last part of the ring on, and it was just stuck in the groove right here. And I think what happened was it got smacked right here, and I think a little bit of material pushed like a little bump up into the ring land. So I took the ring back off, and I used the back side of the ring, and I kind of rolled around the entire, because at the time I didn't see this, and I wasn't sure where it was at. So I just took the back of the ring and I put it in the land and I just rolled it around the entire piston. And when I got to that spot, I was like, oh, there's my spot. It's sticky. So I took a little tiny, I forget where I got this file. I got it in a set maybe, but it's almost like a points file. It's really tiny, very fine. And what I did was I just went into the ring land and I sanded or filed away that little bump of material that was pinching the piston ring. I'm telling you this because it's critical whenever you're doing engine work. If something doesn't feel right, that's because it's not right. So before you move forward or just think, well, it'll probably be okay. No, don't assume that anything is going to be okay. So what you want is you want the ring to be able to float all the way around inside the piston ring's land. If it doesn't, find out why and fix it. Find out what the issue is before you move on. Because the last thing you want to do is have the piston jam and score the inside of the cylinder wall while it's running and ruin all your hard work. So don't do that. If you run into an issue, no matter what it is, if you put in a couple of pistons and you're cranking it around the next one and something doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel right, it might not be right. It's worth checking now. There's no reason to rush. This isn't a race at this point, right? We're trying to do quality work and we're trying to get everything put together properly. So just wanted to bring that up. I'm kicking myself because I should have recorded it while I was doing it. As soon as I realized that that piston ring was tight, I should have grabbed the camera and then showed you and then filed it and fixed it and then showed you that. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. All right, let's get started. If I haven't mentioned this before, this is a good time to do so now. Never touch a bearing surface with your bare hands. You have oils, greases, acids, all kinds of junk on your fingers that you don't want on your bearings. So don't do it. Same as with the crankshaft, you have one side that's going to have that tang on it, and it matches up to the rod. Cap and rod match up to each other, and this That tang on both sides prevents the bearing from spinning, which is what you do not want to do, is spin a bearing. So we've cleaned our parts as best we could. We've got everything ready to go. Get our lube onto our parts for the bearings. Now we can't forget about the wrist pin. We want to make sure that the wrist pin has some lubrication on it as well. So we're going to get right down. Let's move it over to the other side. A nice coat around that. Because we want we want some good lubrication there. Now, as I've said, I like to use Marvel Mystery Oil on the skirt of the piston. So that's what we're going to do here. So with the skirt lubed, our little protector's on, deck's flat. Let's get this down in. Tighten that down. Arrow pointed forward. Let's drive this in. All right, it seems where I have that bottom oil ring at, maybe I need my compressor in a different location. Hold on, because the spring wasn't holding those rings in as tight as I want. So before I go crazy, let me back up, make sure this is A-OK. Back down in the hole. I think I had one of the ring gaps was over on this side, and I think the way the compressor pops it in, there's like a little gap in the back, and I think it was catching like the corner. So as soon as I felt resistance, I stopped. Well, let me find out what the problem is before I go any further. You know what I mean? So let's make sure. Let's make sure this is down nice and flat. There's actually a marking on here. It shows bottom with the arrow down toward the deck. So let's make sure we got that right. All right, let's try now. That's much better. Like I said, if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. So this one is in. So now I can just push it down, get it onto the journal, just like you saw in the other video, and then we'll spin it over. This was number 3, then we got to do number 4, and then we'll do on down the line. All right, I guess it's time to get going. Nice spin. Make sure everything is nice and smooth. So then we set up for number 5 cylinder. Let's get that rod right. The crank journal all the way at the bottom. Now, I'm taking a break. Nice and smooth. Smooth like butter. That is what I like. All right, well, I guess we flip it over and we'll torque all the rods down to spec. Okay, so these need to be coated with the same moly lube that you saw me use on the mains. So with the front two loosened up. I'm going to clean these off, moly lube, and then we'll get to torquing. Snug them down, and then we go 50 foot-pounds. Then around to the next two. Next two. Last two. Still smooth. Well, that's it for this one. Pistons and rods are in, everything is torqued down, so we are officially short block, which is good. So the next thing I got to do is paint a bunch of parts. I got to paint the heads and the valve covers, timing cover, oil pan, oil filter, adapter, all those things have to get painted before I bolt them on. So that's where we're at now. So appreciate you being here. You know what to do. Hit subscribe, click the bell for notifications, like, leave a comment, all the things. You know what to do. Go to my t-shirt shop. If you find something you like, money goes right back into the project. And every little bit helps at this point. So I really appreciate it. So that's it. This is Hutch from Hutch High Perf. That's it for now. See you later.